What's up, guys? I'm trying something a little bit new with my audio this week, really trying to fix it, so please let me know in the comments how it sounds. Besides that, let's talk about the emotional trigger of each sign. Roll the intro. All right, so let's start with Aries. So the emotional trigger, so before I start, actually, let's just say that this is not sun sign astrology. This is just really, if anything, this would be the moon sign, predominantly. But I think that if you have planets in, important planetary points in any of these signs, you can just intuitively know which ones you resonate with. So, but it's mostly going to be the moon, but of course that can get complicated as well, right? Like if you have moon square Pluto, moon conjunct Neptune, regardless of your moon sign, it's going to, with Pluto give a taste of Scorpio, with Neptune give a taste of Pisces. Anyways, let's begin. So I have to write these down. So, okay, Aries. So Aries really doesn't like to feel as though they're not being productive. When they feel like they are inactive, like they're not getting, and also if they feel like they're not getting the independence in their life that they need, they feel like they're not able to express their anger in a relationship, anger / just that very emotional, raw Aries energy, especially when it gets looked at badly, right? When people are judging the Aries for being too passionate. And I would say also when they can't, they just can't deal with weak people, right? With people who just can't handle the truth. So, yeah. Taurus. So Taurus does not like to be pushed into situations where it's being forced to make a decision faster than it would like to. Taurus is a sign that does need to get good at making decisions and not just staying. The shadow Taurus energy is the person who never takes risks or rarely takes risks, and they don't really, or spiritual risks, right? And there's kind of this stubbornness and this stuckness, but also, you're not gonna convince, like pushing a Taurus, like do this, do that, do this, do that. It's just, it annoys them, It annoys them. Let them have their own process, because maybe for you, change is easy and not a big deal, but for Taurus, it could be a bigger one. So Gemini. I would say Gemini, their emotional trigger is boredom, feeling like they are trapped in a routine. And what I mean by this is that Gemini is a sign, it's a mercurial sign, it's a sign that likes to move around, do this, do that, try this. It's an air sign of curiosity. So, especially at the moon and Gemini lunar level, these people, don't like to be trapped in like a situation, whether it's romantic, whether it's, with their work. They like to have a lot of variety in their life. And I don't mean that in like the typical let's all make fun of Gemini way. No, I'm not saying that they are SLUTS's, guys. Come on. I'm saying that Gemini just wants a lot of variety in life. So they will not like to be in a situation where they're not able to have that. And then when it comes to routine, it's the same energy, right? Gemini, because they tend to like to try this, then try this, then try that, then try this, and try this, and be, all these different things, or at least a routine that keeps them, that makes them feel stagnant. That's a big emotional trigger. Okay, Cancer. So Cancer is, I would say, well, there's a lot emotional trigger with Cancer, but obviously Cancers, really, really dislike when they are being pushed to be vulnerable too fast. They like to feel secure in their environment. Cancer energy likes to feel secure in its environment and make sure that it can totally trust that person before opening up that massive web of emotions and just that extreme Cancerian sensitivity. So yeah, and obviously no one likes to be gaslit. No one likes psychological warfare, so I'm not even going to add that in there. But I would say Cancers, little things can tick Cancers off more than many other signs because of that sensitivity. So another emotional trigger would be someone who doesn't pay attention to that, to the little things that can make them feel that way. Okay. So Leo, I would say, when they feel ignored is an emotional trigger for them. When they feel like someone is breaking their flow. And also, it's going to sound obvious, but Leo's a very sunny and gregarious and happy energy. So people who are really constrained and overly serious, I think, can not really be the best for Leo. It can be tough for them to be around. When I say feeling ignored, I don't mean like in the narcissistic way, but Leo energy, especially Leo moon, like it likes to be seen, it likes to be given attention, and it's good at giving attention too, but it has a lot of love to give and a lot of love to receive, right? So it can be quite tough if it doesn't have that and get recognized in the little ways that make it special. So, and yeah, like they are authentic creative beings, so they won't like someone who's like overly structured and conditioned by society, all that stuff. Okay, Virgo. So Virgo, I would say people not appreciating the little things they do. Virgo, especially the lunar level, can be very in their head, and a lot of times they show their love by the small things they do for people. So yeah, this can be like, for example, let's say they are, whether it's living with roommates or in a relationship, and their partner leaves and they do this like surprise Herculean cleaning of the whole house, right? They're doing it from their heart, but at the same time, to not be noticed, or even like smaller little things, like going and getting the favorite chocolate of their partner on their way home from work or whatever, and it's just like not even really noticed or barely acknowledged. That is not good. And Virgo, yeah, they want to be treated with respect. I mean, everyone does, but I think Virgo especially is very sensitive energy, opposite sign of Pisces. So yeah, they don't take kindly to being treated rudely. And I would throw in also vagueness. Virgo being, the sign that it is, it likes sort of this accuracy with speech, and it really does not like people who say they're going to do one thing and do the next, right? So, yeah. Libra. So with Libra, I would say being treated unfairly. Libra is a very fair sign. It's a very, it's a sign that is thinking a lot about what does that other person need, right? It's very good at putting itself in the other person's shoes. So it's very considerate. So when they come across someone who is not like that, they don't like it. Especially because they tend to give a lot. And sometimes they really have to look at that ratio of giving to receiving. And if it's and a lot of, it's not uncommon for them to get stuck in that where they're giving and not really receiving much. Aside from that, emotional trigger for Libra, I think that Libra just loves beauty, right? And I don't mean that in a way, I don't mean that in a vain way. I mean that Libra, ruled by Venus, they take great care, typically with Libra placements, in whether it's them looking good or dressing good, things like hygiene, right? How they design their house, how clean it is. You guys, I'm sure the Libras out there and people who know Libras, I can't think of one Libra I know, female more so, right, who isn't like, a good designer. Like they're all like really good designers, interior designers. And yeah, so I think a slob would not be good. Anyways, especially, because imagine like the worst thing for a Libra would be like living in a roommate situation with someone who's just, like a low vibe Pisces. Okay, Scorpio. I would say Scorpio. Well, it's a big list, but being lied to, deceived, which a lot of these obviously are just universal. No one likes that. It's an emotional trigger for everyone to get lied to, but because Scorpio is such a loyal sign, it really hurts them when that isn't returned. And also, they are the lie detectors, right? So, yeah. And I would say with Scorpio, they're very good at seeing through. Yeah, they're very good at seeing through it. So it's not that common that it happens, but it can happen to anyone. And I think another thing with Scorpio is that they are so deep. So the friendships and the relationships that they have, become very, very profound. So they can have very dramatic breakups or friend breakups because there's just been such a depth to that relationship, right? So I think that it can make one. So when I say being lied to or being deceived, all that, I'm talking about these very deep relationships. That's more what I'm referring to than anything else. Okay, I thought I just paused the video. Oops. Okay, so Sagittarius. So Sag. Okay, well, this is my moon sign. Being restrained, Sagittarius moon is all about freedom. So closed-mindedness in other people is a big turnoff for a Sag moon. A big emotional trigger is, as a Sag, in Sagittarius placements in general, they have spent so much time learning and gaining wisdom, and it comes natural to them because that's just what they want, whether it's through traveling to different nations and learning and expanding their worldview, right? When you go to a different country and you fully fully immerse yourself in that culture, which not everyone does. It's a hard thing to do. Learn the language, really, really like want to learn about what makes that culture that culture. It actually expands your awareness of all, right? And even with things like astrology, even though it's ruled by Uranus, it's just an example of something that can really help bring freedom to someone's life if they understand it. So it's very triggering for Sagittarius placements when, especially people they love, like in their own family, like let's say a Sag placement, someone with a lot of Sag learns about astrology, it changes their lives, right? And then they love people in their own family and they want to teach these people, how, what they learned, right? Not for anything ego, but just to help them. And these people are just not open to it. That can be very triggering. And also back to what I was saying before, that feeling constrained. Yeah, a Sagittarius, if you try to hold a Sagittarius, especially moon down, it just won't work because Sag moons are all about freedom. They usually have oftentimes they do have issues with commitment. It's just the truth, guys. Doesn't mean that they can't commit, but if you want a Sag to commit, you got to give them a lot of space, a lot of leeway. And you'll be surprised when you do that. And it's the same with Aquarius, that they tend to surprise you in a good way. Okay. But of course, this is not all levels of, manifestation. Capricorn. So I would say that emotional trigger for Capricorn is when people don't live up to their expectations. When people fail to what's the word? When people promise something and fail to deliver, right? Capricorn are here for the long haul. That's one thing I love about the sign. As someone who has Saturn in Capricorn, I've realized how strong that placement actually is throughout the years, right? Because it's in life, you have a lot of people who give up easily. This is such a random example, guys, but there's this podcast that it's my favorite podcast. It's not a well-known podcast. It's just the funniest one to my humor. And one of the guys, it's a two-man duo, just quit out of nowhere, or not quit. He did. He just basically out of nowhere said that he wasn't going to do it anymore, and it's just wild. And I know that one of the guys has Capricorn, and this other guy is Pisces. So it's just a good example, right, of the Capricorn who is going to continue to try to push forward while this, the Pisces gave up after 5 years, when maybe, who knows, maybe they were just 1 year away from their big hit. So Capricorn is about building empires. So yeah, like it's like that, and it can be that way in relationships as well, right? They tend to have that power couple energy. So also another thing that can be a trigger for Capricorns can be, 'cause sometimes Capricorns can care too much about other people's opinions of them, which I don't think is a good thing. But for example, let's say you're dating someone's dating a Capricorn moon, or just Capricorn placements, and they go to a dinner with their family, or just like a family and extended friends. They're, that person is meeting the Capricorn's family and the people they've known their whole life, and they, they just not embarrass them, but they just don't kind of help them come off in a good way, right? That's really, really difficult. So I've got the football on here, and of course I'm doing this video when there's a last second game winner or game tying goal by Serbia. Go Serbia. But anyways, that's kind of where I would put it. Like Capricorn have big expectations, but they definitely Guys, I'm like becoming more and more turned on. Don't use these words, Jesse. I'm becoming more and more attracted to Capricorn energy because, in females, for the record, because of that ability, also because Capricorn ages so amazingly, but that's another story. I'll make a video on that sometime about physical ascendants and astrology and all that. But yeah, they just it's like what they say they mean, and I feel like that's becoming more and more rare in today's world. Wow, I just spent so long in Capricorn. If you've been following me for years on Instagram, you know that Capricorn has been a huge riser in my list of signs. So yeah, Aquarius. Speaking of riser, well, speaking of signs and rankings for me, it's always the sign that I talk about the most, but at least less these days. Anyways, the emotional trigger for Aquarius is clingy people. People that it's kind of like Sag, people that restrict their freedom, people that restrict their individuality, kind of like Leo in that sense, right? Aquarius is goofy, it's weird, it's about, let me turn the volume all the way off there. Got a 1-1 Slovenia, Serbia. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm recording this on the 20th of June. The Euro is just started and Copa America starts today. Argentina will win Copa America. Colombia will be in the final, not Brazil. And France will win. France or Portugal or Germany. No, France will win. Of course, I'm going to say it every time, but I don't actually really fully believe it. No, I think it will be, I want to like call it on this video. Germany looks good. Spain looks good. No, I'm gonna stick with Portugal. Even though they look bad. Actually, no, screw that. We're going with France. France. La France, vive la France, vive la France. I'm French, je suis français. Okay, anyways. So Aquarius, as I was saying, guys, yeah, like when people don't give Aquarius space, as you know, Aquarius is about keeping its individual self within relationships, within friendships, in their life. They don't want to lose the essence. They're always trying to figure out who they are, right? That's why they're Aquarius. It's about learning. Who am I? What makes me different than the next person? So when they get into a relationship and someone is trying to fully submerge, it's not that Aquarius can't be intimate. In fact, I would say Aquarius, to me, has a different type of intimacy that is very beautiful. I think it's the most attractive energy. I already put that on my rankings list on my Instagram that got like a bunch of hate. That was amazing. Only by some people. But it's because nothing is planned for Aquarius. Aquarius just goes with the flow. Aquarius just lets things happen. You know, that's what I find attractive is that, you know, and it also sucks because it's like, you can have a peak experience with someone with a lot of Aquarius, the best night ever, most romantic, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, you know, this is an extreme, but it happens, you know, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Because it's like that process of them getting so close. It's almost like a cat. Aquarius are like cats. And when you give too much attention to a cat, it runs away a lot of times. It's like, go away, dude. Let me sleep. That's how Aquarius are. They really find it unattractive when they're bombarded by attention. Now, I've never done this successfully. I'll be honest. But I've seen it. I've never been given the chance, for the record. Never been given the chance. Since I've become a greater man, I haven't had an Aquarius that I've wanted to date come into in the picture, unfortunately. But I've seen it. that when you give an Aquarius this, when you give them that space, and I have a lot of Aquarius too, so I can speak with this. When you give them that space, when you listen to them, when you understand their idiosyncrasies, right? The little things that are a little bit different about them, and you just trust, they repay it. They can be extremely loyal. But then on the flip side, I've seen Aquarius, I've been cheated on by my first girlfriend, who was a triple Aquarius. It was a long time ago, but she cheated on me. It was the only time I've ever been cheated on in my life, full disclosure. But I was the clingiest Pisces ever. I mean, not ever, but like I was so clingy. I was very young. I was like, 19 or 20. But the point is that I think that pressure on her, that clinginess, that insecurity, she was horrible too, but whatever. That probably drove her to want to do that. So they don't like that type of just energy all over. They want space between encounters and between just in life in general. And yeah, the beautiful thing is that they're very non-judgmental, and they are aliens. So they're just so mysterious. And this isn't like a tribute to a Aquarius video. I'm just explaining it because I had a really amazing comment on my post that the love that they give, because it's so unpredictable, it's so real. It's so raw and so real, and they're not afraid to make someone disappointed, which hurts. It's hard, but yeah. Okay, I just spent 6 minutes on Aquarius. Jesus, Jesse. Pisces. So this one I know because I'm a Pisces sun. When a Pisces feels judged or criticized, criticized or misunderstood for being different. Well, let's rephrase that. When they are criticized, for example, when I was in high school, I had a friend that now I know is a Sagittarius psychopath, literally actually a psychopath. I genuinely think. And I would say things, let's say he didn't do any really psychopathic things to me. I'm just saying he's this actual psycho. But that his whole mantra that would piss me off the most was, it's all in your head. Like, let's say, I used to smoke the green stuff. I haven't for a really long time. Nothing, no disrespect or anything to anyone that does. I just literally can't, or I go crazy. I feel like I have schizophrenia. I'm not even joking. It's been like that for over a decade. But we used to smoke and all that in high school. And let's say I would start to get too stoned, and just the kind of thing like saying oh, it's all in your head, or if it was just anything related to we were all very toxic masculinity males, but high testosterone toxic masculinity males, but just that saying just that, oh, it's all in your head, like kind of that gaslighting, right? Because Pisces are so sensitive, and they're usually, especially, and another thing is when people gaslight their intuitive download or their intuitive insights. So it's let's say a Pisces in a relationship with someone, and they're like, you've been acting different, I can tell your energy, the way you're looking at me, the way that it's really obvious. It's the Pisces talking, right? It's really obvious that you are, that something's off. And just to be kind of gaslit in that type of way, because Pisces know, right? They know. And because a lot of times Pisces struggle with boundaries, that's another part, right? Another thing is that they need partners who are going to respect that and not push. So, and just kind of suck the energy out of them. So yeah, feeling judged and feeling criticized, especially for being different, which leads to being misunderstood, tends to make that Pisces conform. And when the Pisces conforms, they leave their authentic nature. And this goes for pretty much every sign. So, yeah. So I think, should I also do the elements? Just like a really quick kind of download of the elements. We'll try it out. Why not? And I'll edit it out if I don't like it, because yeah. So yeah, with Earth, right? As we said, with Taurus and Capricorn and Virgo, it's it can be very triggering when people are not meeting their requirements and being consistent and willing to truly be in for the long haul. People who are, what's the word, fleety, or kind of just like talk a big talk but don't walk the walk. This Earth energy is about sticking to it. Yeah. So hold on. I did not write down. I have to guess. So, okay. So then if we have water, so Pisces, Scorpio, one sec, guys. So water, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, their emotional trigger is if they're not able to speak about their emotions, if they're not able to have that connection on that level, or at least be understood, if that part of them has to be turned off. And also if their instincts and their intuitive insights are ignored, right? Like what I said with Pisces is very true for all of them. They have this ability to see through what other, a lot of other placements can't see, and feel. So when that gets ignored, it can be very triggering. And just like, because they're more sensitive when the needs associated with those sensitivities are not met, and on top of that are kind of gaslit, or they're kind of made to look weaker or worse with that, then it's not good. Okay. So, air signs. So, yeah, air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I think that the commonality is they need to feel like life is moving and that they are free, namely Aquarius, Gemini. And of course with Libra, it's a little bit different, but like that one was more about being treated fairly. But still, air, it needs socializing, right? So the air element needs to communicate. So I think a big emotional trigger could be also someone who's not willing to have conversations. Someone, when they don't have that intellectual connection with the person, or with the whatever it is in their work. It could be whatever. So that's huge. And then finally we end with fuego, el fuego, el fuego, le feu, el focul. That was Romanian, the last one. Okay. Timestamp. Okay. So this is what I do, by the way, when I do these readings for my editor to make it easier. So fire, yeah, they just need to live, They need to live, they need to live, they need to live. And each one's a bit different because Aries is ruled by Mars, Leo is ruled by the Sun, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So yeah, that one's kind of interesting, the fire one. But I guess because fire is about action, I would say people who are inactive and people who are afraid, or people who allow fear and complacency to rule their life. That's kind of what comes to the top of my head. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. So just don't hang up quite yet. So I just want to say a few things. So I'm really, really trying on this YouTube stuff. I would appreciate, I don't want to be the beggar, but I would appreciate it so much if you guys would subscribe. It shows that only like 30% of the people that are watching are subscribing. I really appreciate it. I'm trying my best over here. It's my first video from Colombia, by the way. And also, I have a lot of openings, even though this is like my vacation month because of the football. I still make time for my work, always. So I have a lot of openings for live readings, which have been incredible. They've been super long. Like, I did one that was 3 hours, and the one yesterday, I'm not even going to say how long it was, but that was like me connecting with like a new friend, you know. A very interesting chick. So yeah, so basically I have the live reading, right? And it's not a long wait right now. It used to be a long wait, and ever since I've kind of got on top of my wait list and caught up, I've been able to keep up with it. So, and then you have the recorded readings. I did my first one in a while last night. It was absolutely amazing. I think that, you know, these two different types of readings I offer, they are different. My opinion, I mean, I honestly feel like with the recorded readings, you're going to get more detail, and the recorded reading is usually sold. There's that you get the reading with follow-up, so you get both. You get best of both worlds. I honestly, if I had to say which one is better, I would say the recording one, because I know nothing about you. I just speak, maybe. But then with the live reading, we're having that conversation. And there's that whole, I have 2 masters in psychology. I'm actually going to start introducing my coaching. I might even do that right now, my life coaching, because that's another thing I want to do. I'm very good at it. I've already done it, just not under that name of life coaching, astrological life coaching. So yeah, those are the 2 options. My rule is I prefer people to start with the natal chart before they jump into anything, but I also teach astrology one-on-one with any level. It does not matter. I love teaching. It doesn't matter if you've never learned anything or if you think you know a good amount. I will help you, I guarantee. I do compatibility readings, astrocartography, right? Understanding where you are in the world and what your best places are and your worst places, blah, blah, blah. I do everything, guys. I do everything. So yeah, it's all on my website, jesseinnocentastrology.com. I have savings on there right now. It's the best value you're gonna find for what I offer. I really put my heart and soul into my video, my readings. You have no idea. I go overtime constantly. Yeah, it's really in my mind. It's just like all I care about is really helping that person. And I'm not just saying that. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. Ciao. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. All right, bye-bye.